So number one, we did close above 68,000. All right, so that's step number one. Now you have to ask yourself, did it confirm?
Bitcoinzilla stands out with its simplicity and clarity. We've crafted an experience that anyone can dive into, whether you're a crypto expert or just a new to the crypto world. Now guess who keeps his eye on us? The author of best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And we want to take this opportunity and thank all the people who trusted us, and we read every comment. And the best part, it's free. Subscribing now means you will get all new information for free. Don't just follow the trends, stay ahead of them. Subscribe to Bitcoinzilla today and enjoy the new edge. In this video, let's discuss these topics and more.
Bitcoin is pulling back this morning. Take a look. It's trading right above $68,000 here. Now, the kicker is this, and I'm going to jump over to the bigger frame here and take a look at this as we analyze this out, right? So let's take a look. So number one, we did close above 68,000. All right, so that's step number one. Now, you have to ask yourself, did it confirm? What's amazing about this is if you take the high from the day on Friday, we closed right at that same level on Sunday. And remember, Sunday is light volume. To me, this was a direct push by institutions to get some retail on board right there when it hadn't confirmed the breakout just yet. Sure enough, today we're coming right back in towards 68,000. Now, overall, I still think Bitcoin might be on the verge of breakout, but the institutional money and the algorithms, they want to shake out the most investors. So they wanted to coax in some longs, then they'll bring it down, probably take it just below 68,000, maybe back to about 65, which will shake out all of those longs. Those longs will throw in the towel. Those bulls will throw in the towel. Obviously, there's hodlers out there that are never going to throw in the towel. Those aren't included in my analysis here. But then ultimately, do we hold this and make that bigger move up, or do we break this line and go back to the bullish, bearish pivot line? Remember, this pivot line's been awesome. I mean, in terms of guiding us, there was your support, and then up it goes. Now we're dealing with this upper range here that we have to follow. But again, just be aware, the confirmation signal that I teach in the Winning Trader series is bar none the most impactful on anyone's investing and trading in the entire world, in my opinion. I use it nonstop, and you can see, again, Bitcoin coming down towards 68 as we speak. All right, over we go here. Let's take a look. Gold continues to rally. Really remarkable here on gold, I have to say. And if we take a look at gold, gold is trading upwards of piercing my 2730 level. Now, we'll see where it goes here. But again, in the short term, I would expect some sort of little pullback here on gold. The idea is, again, it's just had a very sharp up move. It's been grinding higher. They need to flush out those weak hands. But ultimately, is gold going higher? Yeah. I mean, after a pullback, it probably is going higher. For me, I have my swing trade positions, and then I have my long-term investments. My long-term investments heavily weighted towards gold, and they have been for years. This is something that at the beginning of this year, remember, I came out at the start of this year, gold was trading around $2,000, and I remember going on like David Lynn's show, a bunch of these other big players, and saying, guys, my target is 2,500 on gold. And people laughed at me like, oh, he's crazy. Gold's done. I was watching things, right? Not only the technicals of the chart, it was a beautiful kind of cup and handle pattern, but it was also looking at what the central banks were doing. The central banks were buying more gold than ever. And listen, these guys are the ones that control the printing presses. If they're buying gold, what does that tell us to do? Buy gold. And sure enough, we've surpassed my target for this year, even more so, and I still think it's over 3,000 in 2025. But
Bitcoin achieved its highest weekly close in 4 months, with predictions targeting $70,000 and beyond. Despite a strong rally, mainstream interest remains low. Bitcoin closed the week at $69,000, sparking excitement among bulls for a retest of all-time highs. Traders predict short-term consolidation before a potential breakout beyond $70,000, driven by whale activity. Key U.S. economic data, like jobless claims, could influence crypto markets this week, with eyes on Fed updates. Bitcoin's leverage levels have reached concerning highs, raising risks of market volatility amid record open interest. Despite price surges, search interest for Bitcoin remains at its lowest since 2020, indicating minimal mainstream attention. Bitcoin's market momentum continues, but retail interest and leverage risks should be monitored closely as BTC targets new highs. While publicly cautious, central banks may be quietly buying Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation, financial instability, and future global economic shifts. With global debt increasing, central banks may be quietly buying Bitcoin as an inflation-resistant asset like gold. In volatile economic climates, Bitcoin's decentralized nature could help central banks protect reserves and evade sanctions. Bitcoin's rising popularity and adoption in financial systems may force central banks to accumulate it to stay relevant. While there's no official confirmation, Bitcoin's value as a hedge makes it an attractive, discrete option for central banks. Though no formal announcements have been made, central banks might be preparing for a financial future where Bitcoin plays a key role.
Tesla is down early in the pre-market. You can see hovering around this 217 and change level after closing on Friday all the way over here at around 220. Now, the kicker is this, is that they report earnings later this week. If we go to the daily chart, this is very interesting. I'm going to go over to the big board here. Let's take a look. All right, so what do we have? We have a wedge pattern. Now, wedge patterns basically are a price action that has slowly started to tighten up, right? So you have the down move, the big up, the down, the up, the down, but it's narrowing, right? It's setting up for a bigger move. Now, the only negative here, and again, I am not going to be long or short going into earnings to be clear because I don't have a good enough read, but it is slightly favoring the downside. Why is it slightly favoring the downside? Because you have this consolidation here after this drop from the robo-taxi event, that the kind of the letdown, if you will. And this, what kind of pattern is this, guys? Down, sideways, chop. What type of pattern is that in technical analysis? It's a downward bear flag. So in general, this favors downside slightly, and if this line breaks, you might end up seeing a run down into this area here. The 175 to 180 level is your zone there to watch. Now, if it does rally on earnings, remember, the good traders, the best traders in the world, they don't just look at the side that they think it's going. They look at both sides because you have to prepare in case you're going to be wrong. Heck, I'm wrong very often. So I have to know what my risk is. How do you analyze that risk? Well, one of the things you do is you say, okay, it is a bear flag that favors the downside, but let's just say they report great numbers or Elon Musk says something amazing. What's your risk? Your risk is back to gap fill right here at around 235 to 240. That gap fill should be a significant resistance level and keep the stock from going much higher in the near term. But again, price action probability, at least over the next couple weeks on earnings or after, is favoring the downside. All right, couple other things to go over here, guys. SAVE, S-A-V-E, which is Spirit Airlines, jumping quite substantially pre-market, about 35 to 40%. They basically got a lifeline from bankruptcy in this situation. So, again, it's one of those scenarios where the company is basically priced to go out of business, but they got a small little lifeline. The stock is up. Do I trade these type of things? I don't personally. There's too much risk. I don't have an edge. When I don't have an edge, I stay away. All right? There's always a gamble. You can always take a gamble. Everyone likes to take a gamble on occasion. I don't have that in my mentality for my trading and investing. That's more for the casino. If I want to go out with my buddies, have a great time, and have some drinks, then I gamble. Otherwise, when I'm trading, I want probabilities in my favor based on data, based on analysis, technical analysis, not hype of social media, which screws so many investors. You wouldn't believe how much worse investors perform now that there's social media out there because you have all the hype out there and all the craziness. And then you look at the mainstream media, which is just the same as it's always been. There are narratives in that way. And then obviously the institutions, which are trying to push and tap into retail investors to make them do the wrong thing at the wrong time. It's pretty wild, just like that behind me. All right, let's get into a couple other things here. Keep an eye on this, guys. This is a chart of the SMH, the semiconductor. I am watching this. If we do roll over in the semis, there's a huge head and shoulder pattern. Again, it has not triggered. It can't trigger until it breaks. This is what's called the neckline, but it is a pattern that if we were to roll down here and kind of retest these August lows and it broke, that would be hugely insane in terms of downside target.
Before Bitcoin's fourth halving, the crypto asset soared to a peak of $73,794 on March 14, as recorded on Bitstamp. During the period from March 10 to April 10, Bitcoin's hash price, representing the estimated daily earnings for 1 petahash per second, pH/s, fluctuated between $105 and $125 per pH/s. Fast forward to this week, and as BTC hovers around $68,500 to $61,200, The hash price has bounced around between $47.88 and $53 per PH/s. Considering the impact of the fourth halving and increased mining difficulty, BTC's spot price would need to climb into the triple-digit range for hash prices to again breach $100 per PH/s. Russian President Vladimir Putin has emphasized the need for independent financial systems within BRICS, focusing on developing an alternative to SWIFT. He addressed the idea of a shared BRICS currency, but urged caution, noting that it's not yet fully developed. His remarks hinted at careful, deliberate moves, with broader financial strategies still unfolding. If you've been with us so far, a big thank you. Don't forget to subscribe for free to Bitcoin Zella for your daily news. The link is waiting below. That's all for today's crypto news. Stick around for more updates, insights, and analysis on cryptocurrencies. Share your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for more exciting content.